Please make me a fan.
What the fuck?
Mental vacation.
Makes me seem like a horrible individual.
You are.
Yeah.
Have anal sex with a person who, prior to the deed, has swallowed a piece of raw bacon.
What?
like fucking a chicken.
That'd be awesome.
Well, make me a fan of your crime.
They still had places to go. You know, there were still bars.
Make me a fan, Cupcake.
Oh, nice.
So
I didn't realize you serviced Wisconsin.
yeah, we used to do it monthly.
Oh,
But
nice.
this has nothing to do with this podcast. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, if you're ever in Starbucks and you have to take a shit, don't smear it on the walls.
Yeah, keep it contained to the damn toilet.
And don't do that anywhere. That's just rude.
And men, I'm talking mostly to you.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's the men's room.
Although I think it's always 100% of women that do the bloody tampon.
There is rarely... Actually, I've never had a bloody tampon one. I've only had some blood.
If I walked in the bathroom and I just saw shit and bloody tampons, I'd probably want to kill myself. Speaking of which... Yeah, that's a nice segue. Sorry, Carrie's trying to take selfies with her dog instead of worrying about podcasting. So I don't know why I still have her on the show.
She looks so cute. Just got her head resting on the table.
Yeah, well, no one can see that. And I hear our new dog upstairs crying, who's being a hyper little son of a bitch because he's still young.
He's a little baby.
Yeah, we adopted a new Rottweiler. He kind of fell into our laps, but he's been doing good, except he gets really hyper when people come over. I'm going to have to go. All right, we're back again to the Make Me a Fan podcast. I don't know if that first part's going to make it in. We'll see how it sounded. Got some technical difficulties, but we're back with a vengeance.
Whoop.
And I haven't killed myself yet. So there's that segue. But our topic today is assisted suicide.
Yeah. What? That's not funny. This is not a laughing matter.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get very sexual on this episode.
That was all from last episode.
We could try. What if they get cancer of their private parts and they don't want to live no more?
Can you get cancer of the private parts?
Well,
I know you can get cancer of the anus.
Well, there's testicular, which just your testicles, though.
Yeah, well.
Why would you want to die over
Well,
that?
I don't know. Some people. What if you got ovarian cancer?
I don't have ovaries. I don't have to worry about that.
Then you get your ovaries taken out.
Yeah.
And you get someone else to have your kids.
Or they might be able to save eggs, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Probably. I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, for those that don't know what assisted suicide is, it is suicide committed with the aid of another person. The term is often used interchangeably with physician-assisted suicide, also known as PAS, which involves a doctor knowingly and intentionally providing a person with the knowledge or means, or both, required to commit suicide, including counseling about lethal dosage of drugs, prescribing such lethal dosages, or supplying the drugs. Physician-assisted suicide is often confused with euthanasia. World's best talker.
Of course.
Start a drinking game every time I can't fucking talk. Everyone takes a drink since I can't.
Okay.
In cases of euthanasia, the physician administers a means of death, usually a lethal drug. In physician-assisted suicide, it's required that the person voluntarily expresses his or her wish to die, and also makes a request for medicine for the purpose, or medication for the purpose of ending his or her own life. So, places you can legally commit suicide are Canada, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. They allow physicians to physically assist in the deaths. The United States has authorized medical aid in dying in 6 different states, which refers to terminally ill people with 6 months or less to live, taking a prescription medicine that's prescribed by the doctor. In Oregon, most of these places, it has to be done by either a doctor of medicine or a doctor of osteopathy in order to do it.
Yeah, a MD or a DO.
Yeah.
Which we had to look up what a DO is, and you said, Sean, it's basically...
Yeah, it's like a primary care. They're just doctor of medicine, which is an MD, but they're a DO.
Yeah, I don't really
know the difference either. I'm not schooled in that shit. Even though I've seen so many goddamn doctors in the past 2 months, most of them are neurologists, so.
And most of them you probably don't remember. But anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Oregon was basically one of the first states to allow it. They passed in 1994, Washington in 2008, Montana in 2009, Vermont 2014, and then New Mexico and California in 2015. So the statistics are basically in Oregon, Oregon had a physician-assisted suicide law since 1997, apparently. I don't know why I got 94 before. But since its enactment, there has been a steady increase in both prescription recipients and the number of deaths. According to the 2016 data summary, as of January 23rd,
I've never heard anyone say it like that.
What?
Sorry.
What?
According to the 2016.
How do you say it?
2016?
You say 20 instead of 2000? What do you say, TJ?
I'm trying to think.
Or...
I think I usually say 2016, 2005.
Oh, wait, I guess I have. Never mind.
What did you say when it was the year 2000?
2005.
2000? Are you not paying attention?
I don't
now?
know. No, I'm just trying to think how okay, anyways, I'm getting up. Okay, go on.
Oh my God, you make me want to kill myself.
Shut up.
All right, since January 23rd, 2017, prescriptions have been written for 1,749 people, and 1,127 patients have actually died from ingesting the drugs that were legally prescribed to them. Washington, according to a 2015 annual report, said that since 2009, prescriptions have been written for 938 people, and there have been 917 deaths. The only other statistic I have is Vermont, which as of June 8th, 2017, there's been forms completed by physicians for 53 people, but they don't have any. I don't have a listing for death or anything.
I wonder, when it says that prescriptions have been written for 938 people, but there's only been 917 reported deaths. Does that mean that maybe the other, whatever the difference is between 38 and 17 people,
chickened out?
They chickened out, or did they maybe die without it?
I don't know. Well, it says you only have 6 months to live.
So maybe their cancer progressed faster than expected.
Yeah, I didn't do that much research.
I know some people, they say, oh yeah, you got 6 months to live, and then 3 weeks later they're dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could have been something that happened. Either that or they chickened out.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, that they just didn't go through with it. But if they only had 6 months to live, then maybe they just got super sick and weren't able to. So then we get down to the debate. Advocates of assisted suicide laws believe that mentally competent people who are suffering and have no chance of long-term survival should have the right to die, and if and when they choose. If people have the right to refuse life-saving treatments, they argue, they should also have the freedom to choose to end their own lives. But opponents say that such laws devalue human life. Medical prognoses have often been inaccurate, meaning people who have been told they will die soon sometimes live for months or even years. They also argue that seriously ill people often suffer from undiagnosed depression or other mental illnesses that can impair their ability to make an informed decision.
I just wanted to point out too, you left out some keynotes about certain states allowing what you have to go through in order to get this whatever,
the medicine.
Yeah.
How
California and I thought there was another state. Well, California, it says that 2
oral requests.
Yeah, minimum of 15 days report and a written See, you're
wife of the world's best doctor.
And a written request to his or her attending physician. And then the attending physician shall directly and not through a designee, whatever, receive all 3 requests required pursuant to this section.
Yeah, you got to go through a bunch of shit to get a legal drug when you could just take a gun and put it in your mouth.
So maybe that's how those people didn't die from the pills. Maybe it took too long to go through all the counseling and all that.
Well, it said they were written prescriptions, though. So if you got the
yeah, that's
prescription,
true.
all you
Yeah.
got to do is go to Walgreens or CVS or
Fill it, yeah.
Target or Myers or wherever you go for your prescription, and pick it up with a bottle of wine. Go home, set candles, send out an email to the ones you love, and go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they have to do it that way because, I mean, it's like buying a gun. Like, you don't want people going out just making some rash decision about something. There's got to be that hold period.
Well, let's start with, how do you guys feel about assisted suicide? Are you guys for assisted suicide being legal, or do you think it should not be legal? Who wants to go first?
100% I think it should be legal. I mean, we're allowed to put our pets down when they're in pain or dying. So why is it that humans have to
We can
suffer,
put pets
so to
down
speak?
just because they don't have a home.
Yeah.
We can't do that with the homeless people.
Right.
I just can't go to Milwaukee. I can't get off on McKinley right by the new arena they're building, and there's always fucking homeless people there. I can't just pull up and shoot one of them. But if you
Because
find a
it's
dog on the
inhumane.
street, you find a dog on the street, you take it in, within a week they put it down.
Right.
Because it growls at you.
Right.
Okay. What do you think, Tej?
Well, to play devil's advocate for that reason, I would say because dogs can't speak. So obviously just putting them down because there's no room for them is, not right. But like if they're sick or something, you decide to do that, then you're basically like kind of making the decision for them because they can't tell you. Whereas humans, we can say, hey, like obviously, yeah, these are our wishes. So you
think we should only put down mentally handicapped people that can't talk properly?
Well, no, see, and
me.
And that's the other thing too, because like in some of the notes we have, it's like a slippery slope. If we say we can allow people to commit suicide, then you have to make the distinctions on who can who can make that decision. Because it says of sound mind. Well, that's subjective.
I wasn't in sound mind laying in the fucking hospital for most of those weeks, so I couldn't have decided, but a lot of times I did want to die. I text Carrie to come put a pillow over my face because I was in so much pain.
Yeah, well, and you can make a good argument that somebody who was just given a terminally ill diagnosis, they're not of sound mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that if this were to be like legal, you have to, be given the diagnosis that you only have like the 6 months, like the laws that are in place. But then I also think that you should have a living will before you were given the diagnosis. Like if you don't have a living will that states in these circumstances I want to commit suicide, then I don't really think it should be allowed.
They do ask you, like when Sean was admitted to the hospital, they asked him
if you had a living will. Yeah.
No, it wasn't like a living will. It just said something about like if they wanted to revive you, or they did the same thing with me when I had surgery.
Yeah, the advanced directives.
Yeah, and it's sort of it was just sort of like, well, no, if I'm brain dead, then no, I don't want to be revived. Like, just
I don't want to be a vegetable. I want to put that on record.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone does. I know our parents don't.
Yeah.
They've told me that. And if I'm laying in a hospital bed and there's like a 2% chance or a 20% chance that I'm going to recover, I don't. Just fucking let me go.
Well, and the other question I had too is, so the Washington D.C. / District of Columbia says that a patient shall make 2 oral requests separated by at least 15 days to an attending physician. Submit a written request signed and dated by the patient to the attending. What if the patient then is not?
Then I think it comes down to the power of attorney gets to decide, should we leave them hooked up to these machines or not?
It said the designee earlier, I think, for California, which that I'm assuming. So that's your power of attorney, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just when I think about this, and I hope this doesn't come
California
off.
says not through a designee.
Oh, whichever one she was reading then. Was that Washington?
There
was one where she said designee.
Yeah, that was the first one.
one.
Yeah, and it says not a designee.
Oh, so yeah.
The attending physician shall directly and not through a designee receive all the requests required pursuant.
So it can only be done by the person.
That doesn't make any fucking sense then. So what if the person is literally just either in so much pain or just so completely drugged up from medicine that they can't make that decision?
Or they got a tube down their throat where they can't even talk?
If they can make the decision, then but
are they in sound mind though? That's the big argument in my opinion. That's why, when I go to the doctor for my yearly checkup, they always say, "Do you have your advanced directive? Do you have a living will?" Because the doctors press that, because anything could happen at any point. So
Right.
I never had a doctor ask me that.
Oh,
Besides
really?
in the hospital, apparently, but I don't remember that.
I don't remember them saying anything about a living will. I just remember that it's standard procedure. Anytime you
Yeah.
get a surgery or you're being put under or you could be put under,
Yeah.
they're going to ask you that.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask, why does it have to be someone of a sound mind?
Because obviously, if you're in a bunch of pain or whatever, you're gonna want it to end. So you're gonna be like, "Yeah, just kill me." But then, if you survive, look back, you're like, "Well, yeah, that was horrible, but glad I didn't go through with it." So I mean, that's probably their only reason why they want you to be of sound mind.
I think that's kind of messed up because I was going to say this earlier. My grandma was in the ICU because she was dying. And when I saw her, she just seemed to be in just so much pain.
Wow.
And she was hooked up to all these machines, and her pain was being reduced because of all of the drugs that are being fed to her. But I'm like, she's elderly, she's dying. Like, she's not in sound mind, quote unquote, to, have this done. I don't know. I just think that at some point it should be up to like family members. Maybe it already is. Maybe I just don't remember the doctors maybe talking to my dad. And
Well, I think it only comes down to that if you designate somebody. If you have, that's what I'm saying. If you don't have a living will, power of attorney, or advanced directives, like I don't think they can do anything. I think they have to do everything they can to keep you alive.
Yeah, they'll find someone to send the bill to.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. I mean that, and it's all about liability because if they listen to, this family. Well, I mean, so what's to say this family member has a right to make a decision versus this family member?
Yeah, that's why you need that power of attorney.
Yeah,
you need that in writing.
Like if me and you weren't close, like the doctors aren't going to know that. So if you're laying in a hospital, I'm like, yeah, kill him, and Carrie's like, no, like, I mean, obviously, usually it would go to.
Well, I mean, you are both power of attorneys, I think, for mom and dad, aren't we?
Yeah, the sheriff.
So yeah, we have to agree. God forbid when they get in that. Well, I mean, they have their written statements.
Yeah.
In their will, but I mean, you could freak out at the last minute and be like, no, leave her on life support, I'd be like, no, man, she said this.
Well, no.
And then what happens?
In mom and dad's will, because I was in Indiana at the time, they made it that either or. It didn't have to be both because of me being so far away. If you had to make like a split decision,
I've talked to them about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure that's what mom said. So
I think they would rather us both be on the same page, even though I have a feeling we probably would be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. As far as the whole of clear mind goes, I think if anyone wants to kill themselves at any time, they should absolutely be able to. I think that suicide is the only fucking crime that you actually get punished for if you fail to go through with the crime. Like if you actually pull it off, you're fucking free to go. You're not going to jail because you're dead. But if you try to kill yourself, you're fucking going to jail or a mental institution.
Yeah, that's really messed up. I think that instead you should be getting help, just like the same with repeat drug users.
I say, why help them? I'm not trying to be like mean about it.
But I think that some people that maybe try to take their lives or do take their lives maybe wanted help or sought help but didn't know how to seek help.
Yeah, didn't have anybody there for them.
Yeah.
The way I see it, it's like the Pantera lyrics, when a mind's made up to go ahead and die, and what's done is done, why cry?
Well,
I mean, you look at all these like fucking musicians killing themselves. You got Robin Williams, he wasn't a musician, but then you got fucking dude from Soundgarden, you got dude from Linkin Park. Yeah, I mean, they got everything in the world, but they're still not happy. They still kill themselves, unless you believe the conspiracies where they're about to bust up child molestation rings and they're killed by fucking Illuminati. But
jeez.
Some people just don't want help and they just want to die.
I don't know if I agree.
And that's why we're having this discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, I just honestly think, if you want to kill yourself, fucking, you should be allowed to. I don't know if that's a libertarian in me where, everyone's allowed to do what they want as long as it doesn't hurt other people. And I know it will hurt other people. You're going to, hurt loved ones.
Suicide is very selfish.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, so is, fucking, I don't know, a selfish example, fucking working nonstop and, not even thinking about your family at home. That's selfish too.
Unless you're working for the family.
Yeah.
To provide for them, I guess.
So that's probably not a good example, but I mean, selfishness, some people fucking strive for that. I mean, you look at like the famous A-list actors, they got there, or the, Wall Street people, they got there because they looked out for themselves first. And, it comes down to survival of the fittest, and suicide, I guess, you win.
Okay, I'm thinking about that story of, I'm sure you've heard of this, TJ, the girl who basically convinced her boyfriend via text.
Yeah, she just got sentenced today.
Yeah, I think that I was completely appalled when I saw that, because I think that rather than her trying to get him to go through with it, I felt that by him texting her was his cry of help.
Yeah.
And she, rather than trying to pull him away from the ledge, pushed him over it.
But how many times is she... I don't really know a lot about that story. I might just be playing devil's advocate here. But
it doesn't even matter how many times.
Did he do it? I mean...
It doesn't matter.
It's kind of like the boy that cries wolf.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. That's not something you just don't do that. You don't try. And if one of my friends repeatedly would tell me that they wanted to die or they were going to kill themselves, never ever would I ever try and convince them to just go ahead and do it. Because if you care about the person, you're going to want to help them.
Yeah.
And maybe I'd like to hear what her thoughts are. What did she think she was helping him? Because by the text that I was reading, it seemed like she wasn't.
Well, it went over the course of a whole week. She was convincing him and begging him and pushing him to do it.
Yeah, she was being a complete cunt about it too.
Yeah.
That is the proper time to use the word cunt, by the way, Sean.
See, I learned today that I'm into extreme sports, like calling girls cunts, and when they're upset, telling them to calm down. Extreme sports.
Oh my God.
Zing. Okay.
Okay.
Trying to bring some lighthearted humor into this deep discussion.
Okay, well, TJ, do you have any thoughts
on just the whole suicide in general?
Yeah, like everything Sean's talking about.
I mean, I don't know. I think the whole reason why suicide is such a big taboo and no-no is just because for the great majority of human history, like, life has been religion-based. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you take religion out of the equation, I think the great majority of people would be okay with suicide, except when it's just, obviously, you care about somebody, so you don't want them to leave. But, like, I mean, I don't agree with suicide, and, I push for advocating for help, and, I mean, yeah, it is ultimately the person's decision, but I feel like, why would you throw away a life? I mean, life is amazing and fun. Like, yeah, it does suck at times. There are issues, there are problems, but not all of it's bad. And if, it is bad, you can go out there and find fun and find stuff you like to do. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, it seems so easy, though, to say, but it's so hard for those people that are stuck in that darkness.
Yeah, especially if they do have mental health issues, and then trying to seek help is darn near impossible nowadays. I mean, you have, like, month wait lists to get in places. You got doctors that don't want to prescribe medication. You may or may not have insurance. It may not cover it. I mean, mental health is horrible right now, or treatment, I should say, for mental health. So that obviously leads to, more suicide rates. But
yeah, I just want to specify, I'm not condoning suicide at all. I don't want anyone to go commit suicide. Like, you are going to hurt a lot of people. It is going to be selfish. But at the same time, I think if someone's got their mind made up and they don't give a fuck about anyone else and they're gonna do it and they're of clear mind, then just go do it. It's like if someone wants to go do heroin, as long as you just go in your bedroom or in your basement or whatever and you shoot up and you're not driving or fucking robbing anyone for it, like, you should be allowed to do that. And I don't do heroin and I don't support heroin, but if you want to, I think that should be.
Well, and that was something else I wanted to bring up was, my friend who died from an overdose, and she tried seeking help.
Yeah.
And she was denied. And if she had gotten help, she might still be alive. And she was probably using drugs to
Like self-medicate.
cope. Yeah, to cope with her depression or whatever she had going on, and
Yeah.
it's I don't know. The whole thing is just horrible, and it could kind of almost seem like it's not a suicide, it's an overdose, but it's sort of like I know she knew the risks of what she was doing because I knew her and I know she was smart. So it's
but when you're doing that shit, I'm not trying to put anyone down, but when you're doing that stuff, you're not being smart. You don't have the smarts left in your head because of all the drugs.
Takes over.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to, is a person who's contemplating suicide in a sound mind? I mean, so in that instance, you're using drugs, like, that alters your brain, like, physically, chemically, like, that is a proven fact. So technically, you could argue they're not in sound mind. And then other people that are contemplating suicide, most of them usually have mental health concerns. So are they in sound mind? More than likely not. So one can make an argument that, like, is a person who is contemplating that ever going to be of sound mind? Yeah,
I mean, you could have someone that's, a young kid that's either being bullied or maybe they're being abused in a family or molested or something. Are they in a sound mind going through all that shit?
I feel like you guys are talking though about it as though it's not some like depression, and that is not something you can come out of. And I feel it is
I totally
something
think you
can.
Yeah.
So,
and I hope most people do.
Yeah.
It's just my theory is if, like, I support assisted suicide, I support solo suicide. I mean, I don't support it. I support someone's right to do whatever the fuck they want as long as it doesn't directly affect someone else.
Well, that's the thing, though. There's always the indirect. That's like the whole criminal justice term, victimless crime.
Yeah.
There really is, like, no victimless crime because you can always find a way where it's going to, like with the heroin, you're buying heroin, like, oh, I'm just doing it in my basement, I'm not hurting nobody. Well, yeah, but that money you gave to the heroin dealer is going out there and, I don't know.
You're supporting the industry.
Yeah, I mean, and with that industry, with drugs, I mean, you have, kidnapping and forced labor, and I mean, you can get a whole list of things that it contributes to. So
well, you're also, if you don't go to college, you're letting your parents down. There you go. You just committed a crime against them.
Well,
so no matter what you do,
smaller scale, but
but no matter what you fucking do, you're gonna let someone down.
Back to the heroin thing though, they're putting a lot of the heroin has, I think it's called fentanyl in it now.
Yeah, I had fentanyl at the hospital. I hated it.
It's like killing people.
It can like put down a fucking rhino.
Yeah. Fentanyl, is that the elephant tranquilizer? I know there's another thing that's like an elephant tranquilizer that they're putting in it.
Yeah, the heroin addicts are using that instead of heroin, and they're trying to use their natural heroin dosage that they've grown accustomed to.
Well, I think a lot of heroin users though are buying heroin that they don't acknowledge
it's
laced with fentanyl, and then they're doing their regular dose of heroin and then thus overdosing because it's got fentanyl in it.
I don't know why they would lace with fentanyl, because fentanyl is more expensive than heroin. That's why people are doing heroin, because they can't afford Oxycontin.
I know I've read some things about, is it some type of
well, sometimes you can use it to
terrorist attack.
You can use it to cut it though. So you could sell, like,
I thought they just use like baking soda for that.
Yeah, but that would lessen the potency. So if you like add in a dose of fentanyl, like,
well, what the fuck do you care if they're getting high or not? You just want them. They're just buying your product.
You're trying to make money though, so you're trying to spread it around as greatly as possible. I guess.
But I don't know. I might be wrong about the cost of fentanyl, but I thought it was like the hot new drug that is expensive and everyone wants it because a little bit just puts you out.
Well, yeah, because it's like I think that one's 1,000 times stronger than morphine, and morphine's like 10 times stronger than heroin. So, and then that other one that you're thinking of is 1,000 times. I think that's that one.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. But basically, it's just kind of like, I kind of feel like if you're using heroin now, I mean, maybe you already had the addiction, but if you just start, it's like, why? I feel like that alone is like kind of an act of suicide almost, because it's like anyone who reads the internet should be reading that there's fentanyl in heroin, or a lot of it, and that a lot of people are dying from it.
I don't think heroin addicts really read like Fox 6 News or Journal Times.
I don't read Fox 6 News. I just open Yahoo and it's there in the headlines.
I don't think a lot of like heroin addicts are on Yahoo. I didn't know anyone was still on Yahoo, honestly.
I don't think a lot of them have like phones.
Well, I just read an article that in like Middleton, Ohio or something, basically anyone who's young is addicted to heroin, and that there's this rise in deaths because of the fentanyl that's in it. And it's like,
Well, there's a rise in heroin right now because so many states are legalizing pot. I was doing research for
What?
an
That's
up- Yeah, I was doing.
I feel like this is a whole other podcast.
Yeah, I was doing research for our upcoming Mexico podcast that we're going to be doing.
Well, that and they're making all the restrictions for the pills, the pharmaceuticals.
Oh yeah, it's so hard for me to get fucking 10 milligram Percocet with a skull fracture.
Yeah, so since they're cracking down on that, they're turning to heroin because it's cheaper and easier to get a hold of.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to go to your doctor and go through all these hoops. Because in like some states, you can only get so many days worth of pills. Like before, you used to be able to get like 90, you know, like a whole bunch, months worth. And now they're cutting it down to, 30 days or 15 days.
Yeah, I only
even.
got 30 days each time I got a prescription.
So that's why a lot of people are turning to the heroin. But
Yeah, I'm looking up the. I might have deleted that note, but yeah, I don't have the note. I must have deleted that part. But
That's because pot's not a gateway drug.
no, it's not. No, it's not because pot's becoming legal that people are like, oh man, I'm so high, I want to try new shit. It's that like the cartel and shit needs to find a new fucking drug to sell.
another
like-
form of income.
Yeah, like, oh, people can go buy this. They don't need to come to the street corner to fucking buy it. They can go to a dispensary or a fucking 7-Eleven and buy their pot now. I sounded so old. They can go buy their pot at the 7-Eleven. Yeah, they don't need to go to a fucking drug dealer who gets it,
The marijuana.
Yeah. So now
The
they,
ganja.
and no one does fucking coke anymore because it's not the 80s.
I beg to differ.
Oh, TJ does coke.
No, I got clients that come in on the reg, man, daily.
Are they doing coke or crack?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. It just states coke, so it's the
Oh.
same thing, but yeah. So
Probably
that's true.
crack.
It could be crack, but still crack
I
cocaine.
thought crack was like a different form of coke.
Yeah, well, the crack is like the crystal rocks,
Yeah,
basically.
you got to smoke it.
Yeah, whereas coke is just like powder form.
Yeah, crack rock.
It's slightly different in like chemical comp, but
I read about some heroin dealers that were busted dealing, or maybe they weren't even dealers. They were, so whoever's the top person, and they had like insane cars and like Gucci shoes for their little babies, and I'm like, fuck, like no wonder it's such a big industry. I mean, you make so much fucking money.
well, yeah. Do you know how many people like I see on the daily basis that have no income, no form of employment, don't want to work, don't want to look for work, nothing, but yet they have like brand new shoes, they have cell phones. Like
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you need help looking for employment? No, man, I don't want to work. It's like, what? Okay, but all right. So they're doing something. So I mean, obviously, I guess they could be doing other stuff, but
I'm sucking dick for coke.
yeah. What is that called? The day walkers in Milwaukee, the prostitutes that walk during the day.
I think I've seen a prostitute once, and I'm pretty sure it was a tranny.
You want to hear a good story?
Yeah.
So I wanted to go to the ghetto the other day in Milwaukee because I was
You
bored.
work right by
I was
it.
bored. I was bored on lunch, so I had a buddy at work.
You went to the ghetto because you were bored on lunch.
Yeah.
I work in the ghetto. Fuck that shit.
Why would you want to willfully go to
Because
the
I never. I mean, the biggest ghetto.
And just for
I-
the record, we all have black friends. We're not racist. Okay.
That's racist by thinking that
No,
only black people
no,
live in the ghetto.
No. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure now some black person's going to be like, that chick's racist because she thinks that.
Well, everyone knows you're
Okay,
racist.
so
Karen.
let me
Well, we're all white,
let me
so
rephrase.
we
it.
all
I
are.
wanted to drive through the part of Milwaukee
The
where
impoverished part.
where all the people were getting gunned down and we're all like
crime
the drug.
ridden,
Yeah. Okay. So
Now that we cleared that up, I'll edit that part out
Yeah,
to
please.
save our one half black listener.
Who?
you don't want to say.
Don't
names.
call me on that.
Yeah, you don't want to say names.
Yeah,
You
I'm
don't
not
want to out
gonna
him.
call him out.
I'm like, who do we know that's
What
not
if he
black?
doesn't identify as a black or half black?
I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't
that's
know
not
what they
black.
identify at all, but whatever they do, I support it.
Okay, sorry, TJ.
Go on.
So why
Alright.
did you go in the ghetto? What happened?
So we were driving around because we didn't want to. Like neither one of us were hungry because we both were at lunch, but we just didn't want to be in the office. So we were just driving around Milwaukee, and I was like, "Hey, I want to go through the crime-ridden areas."
Oh my god.
What part of town did you go through?
So at that time,
Were
when
you in your car too?
yeah,
Oh my
I was
god.
driving.
27th Street or
and we had the windows down. So at that,
Oh my God.
at that time when I said that, we were on.
You know, drive-bys happen in ghettos.
Yeah,
You
we,
could have died.
carjacking goes on?
We were on
real bad.
We were on Walnut. And,
Yeah, I know Walnut.
Yeah, Walnut and like Third, and then we took
Third and Walnut. That's not ghetto at all.
No, when I said I wanted to go to the
Okay.
ghetto,
Let him finish.
oh, I already said that.
Okay.
When I said I wanted to go to the ghetto, we were on Third and Walnut, and then we took
Sorry,
Walnut.
you keep saying ghetto, and I keep thinking this racist cracker motherfucker.
So we went to 27th Street, and then took that north to, I forget what that road was, but then we took a side street, which would have been like 28th or 9th. And we took that down to Valete because I know somebody who owns a shop down there. And so I wanted to see where his shop was. And in a half block, I got propositioned for prostitution by a lady, and a guy ran up to my car and said, "Hey, you guys doing okay? Do you need anything?" So within 30 seconds, I got offered drugs and a girl. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then, did you know that in downtown Milwaukee area, they have these huge speed bumps on side streets now?
Yeah. Oh, they're huge. Yeah.
Where? In downtown?
They're like as big as a car.
Yeah, I didn't see it, and I was doing like 30, and I
Yeah.
bottomed out. Like, it
Yeah.
was not, and like all these people were.
Oh, yeah, they're fucking
Where
huge.
are these speed bumps?
In,
Downtown
like the
Milwaukee?
ghetto.
Yeah.
Oh, in the ghetto?
Yeah.
Yeah, near downtown.
So
Yeah.
people
They're
can't
like
do
this-
drive-bys?
No, so you
it's-
can't speed.
Yeah, it's
like they're
the
not
speed
the normal
chases.
like 1 foot wide speed bumps. You know, they're like as wide as long as a fucking car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it because they're so like low and they're so long
And they blend in.
Yeah, so I'm just driving around and I saw people to my left and I'm like, oh no, and then like as I was saying that, we ran over the speed bump and they're all looking at me.
Wait, you
weird.
saw people and you're like, oh no.
People probably ran up to your car because you're a white boy in a Toyota
Or were you
Camry
bumping?
or Corolla or whatever the fuck you drive.
Yeah,
And you're just looking all like fancy and rich in your new car.
but I had
and your
my
white skin.
badge on, so I probably looked like a cop. So it was all right.
They're like fucking narcs are here. No, they wouldn't. Hookers wouldn't have came up to you then.
Yeah, no, this bigger lady with the junk in her trunk. She came right.
You know, I've seen a tranny hooker one time, and that was a long time
was that
ago.
in Cudahy?
No, that was in that was on like KK and like Mitchell,
okay.
like near Walker's Point,
Okay,
like by that bus depot down.
I would have
there.
thought that would have been like a Cudahy thing, a tranny, a prostitute.
No, actually, this goes back to our original topic of assisted suicide.
Oh,
A
yeah.
guy I used to be in a band with, he killed himself, but I remember he brought this, I won't say his name in case anyone listens knows what I'm talking about, but he kept telling us about this super hot chick that he met. And we were like, okay, cool, let's meet her. And we all met up at Pizza Shuttle on the east side. And we're like, oh my fucking God, don't tell him. But that's that fucking tranny from Mad Planet that we all know. I'm not going to say the tranny's name either. And then, like, we were just like, you can see his 5 o'clock shadow showing, her 5 o'clock
my
shadow showing now. Because it was at, 10, 11 o'clock at night. We're going to Pizza Shuttle.
The dude couldn't tell.
No. And then she
he
got
drunk?
up. No. She got up to use the bathroom. And we're like, yo, dude, that's a fucking tranny. And he's like, shut the fuck up. Nuh-uh. And we're like, no, man. Goes to fucking Mad Planet all the time. Like, that's a tranny. That's a guy. And his face just dropped. And he stood up and walked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And then,
Yeah,
like, the
right.
trainee came back. And I was sitting there looking at my friend. And I don't remember if Chuck was there or not. But I think all of us just kind of, like, slowly got up and walked away without saying anything.
That is so mean.
Well, what are we supposed to do? I mean, we're nice to him or her, whatever they want to be identified as. Like, we weren't mean to him or anything, but like our friend had no idea, and I think that's something you have a right to know.
Yeah.
Just like before you get married to someone, you should know if they've had plastic surgery. Because you want to know how your fucking kids are coming out.
There's silence
Like,
because
I know. I was trying to think.
Yeah, like that dude,
like that.
like that dude from fucking like
I was
Japan
like, what is
that
it
he
matter?
sued his wife.
That makes sense now.
He sued his wife because they had fucking ugly ass kid, and she was hot as hell. And he was like, "This isn't my kid." And they got a DNA test, and it was. And then he found out she got like a shitload of plastic
Yeah,
surgery
I saw
beforehand.
that.
Yeah, and he fucking sued her, and he won. And damn
That's
right,
crazy.
fuck that simp shit, motherfucker.
Well, she wasn't a guy. She was just a really unattractive woman.
Yeah, but okay. Suppose I propose to you, I marry you. It's 3 years later now. We don't have kids.
You don't
And then-
know. I
and
could have
then
had
you're
a lot
like,
of
"Oh,
plastic
yeah,
surgery.
I used to be a guy, Sean." I'm like,
See,
oh, great.
That-
By the way, this seems like an appropriate time to tell you.
That's fine. I'm kinky as shit.
drop the mic, walk out.
Fuck that. I'm going to kill myself now.
That's got lemons in it, just to warn you.
That's fine. My throat's a little dry anyway.
So
Yeah, we got way off topic there.
Yeah.
Ended up talking about trannies and Carrie,
Drugs.
which all of us lead back to suicide.
all of life's.
Yeah.
I don't even know what those are.
Yeah.
All of life's little hiccups.
Yeah.
Drugs and trannies.
Is that even the proper term anymore?
No, you got to call them guys that don't shut the fuck up, remember?
Oh,
Oh my
That's
god.
all
All right.
right.
So you guys think that you need to be like in a sound state of mind in order to legally be able to kill yourselves?
Yeah, I kind of agree
yeah.
with the laws that are in place in those states, like Oregon and Washington and all that. I mean, they seem to be, they meet my requirements. I
What
guess.
about the what's it called, like the Hippocratic oath?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Dr.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that the people against it are saying, that all the doctors, took that oath that they, would do everything they could to save a person and not harm a person or kill a person, and they're breaking that oath.
Well, I don't specifically know what the oath says, but from what I've always heard in movies, which obviously you take that as a grain of salt, but I always thought it said something to the fact of you do no harm. And in my eyes, if you're assisting them in suicide, if they're terminally ill, you aren't doing them harm. You're actually saving them from
That's
harm.
what I was going to say, right.
I mean, yeah, you're killing them, but you're saving them from.
It's like if you hit
months
a
of
fucking
pain.
deer with your car on accident and it's laying there basically dead and it's just
Yeah,
crying out.
yeah.
It's okay to just, shoot
it.
it in the head and
Yeah.
put it out of its misery.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's actually a really good analogy. You're saving them from suffering.
Yeah. All right, I'm
That's
pulling up
the same with euthanasia
Euthanasia,
for
yeah.
your pets.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Leota was dying of kidney failure.
Yeah.
It was better for me to put her down
Mm-hmm.
than let her die painfully on her own.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, though, people have the advantage of being able to sit in hospital beds hooked up to a whole shit ton of pain medicine to numb them out.
But I really wonder how much that really does numb you. Because, like, I've been on morphine. Well, and Sean, you've been on the fentanyl. Which
morphine
is,
and fentanyl.
Yeah, like, and I was on morphine before, and it doesn't take pain away. It just makes you loopy enough and feel good
Yeah.
enough, like, psychologically, that you kind of forget
You don't
about the
give a
pain.
fuck anymore.
Yeah, like it.
It's like when you're drunk and you fall down and you skin up your knee or whatever, you just laugh it off because you're drunk
Yeah.
and you don't really feel
Yeah,
it.
you have that high feeling more so than like pain blockers.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder, all these terminally ill people that are laying in the hospital bed, barely able to
That's
speak, like,
true.
are they in pain?
Oh, I can tell you when I was on fentanyl and morphine and shit, I was in pain.
Yeah,
And all I had was
see?
a skull fracture and a 9mm midline.
And all I had.
Get that dirt off my shoulder.
Well, I remember my grandma being like, her brow was furrowed a few times when I was in the hospital, despite the fact that she could hardly talk because she was on so much pain medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I looked
you-
up the oath. And
it's hard, though, to let go of your loved ones.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah,
Fucking
definitely.
hard as shit to let go of my goddamn dog. I can't
Yeah.
imagine a loved one. Although my mom always said that, losing her dad was like the worst thing that ever happened to her until she had to put down her dog Killer. And she said that was way worse than her dad.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe because the dogs have that unconditional.
and they're there with
Well,
you
yeah.
every single
And
day.
they're like, I mean, I'm sure people that don't have dogs probably laugh at this, but they're
Or
literally
cats
like
or
your
kids.
Yeah, they're like your babies.
Your fur babies.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
talked
so
about that during our
weird
pet
to get
episode.
a different pet and then be like, it's just so weird.
All right, so the oath is really fucking long, and apparently I think it's Greek.
Does it mention anything about
Yeah, I skimmed through it. And,
killing?
well, first they had the entire. It's like 10 tablets long,
Oh, jeez.
and in a different language.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, give me the American one.
Right.
So I found it says, I will use treatment to help the sick according to my ability and judgment, but never with a view to injure or wrongdo. Never will I administer a poison to anyone when asked to do so, nor will I suggest such a course. Similarly, I will not give a woman pessary to cause abortion. Oh, I didn't know it fucking says that.
Wow.
Yeah, but I will keep pure and holy both my life and my art. I will not use a knife, nor even verily on sufferers from stone, but I will give place to such as are craftsmen therein.
That's
So doctors
super
apparently can't
vague.
afford do abortions then.
That's so.
Well, it says no poison. What's
Yeah.
a poison? Something you take that
well,
kills you.
I was gonna say, well,
Must
but I don't know. Poison's too vague for me because I mean, technically, anything you consume could be considered a poison. I mean, or what's your definition of poison?
Something that kills you.
Well, but
Something
or
you
makes you
Oxygen
really,
kills
really
you.
ill.
oxygen kills you, water kills you.
too much though.
Yeah, I know. That's what well, that's what it is with the drugs though. They just give you enough of the pain medicine or something to stop your heart, but it's natural chemicals that can be in your body.
I guess though, I mean, I don't know enough about like medical conditions and different things that could happen to say for sure then if I agree with assisted suicide, because there is the whole life support thing and pulling the plug.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said something.
That's
in there
basically
about-
like euthanasia.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, euthanasia is killing someone because they get too old. It's not taking someone off life support.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's a good point because I think taking people off life support is like allowed in every state.
Yeah.
But yet
I
you
think so.
can't give somebody a medicine to stop their heart or put them to sleep and have them never wake up.
Yeah, all you can do
That's
is
weird.
yeah, because even in my notes it said it's perfectly legal to not take life-saving medicine. Like if you have
Yeah.
cancer, you don't have to go take chemo.
Yeah.
You don't have to do radiation. You
Right.
can just sit home and fucking eat cheesy puffs and wait
Yeah.
to die.
Yeah.
Which is probably what I would do.
All right. I
Like
don't know
if they're
about
like,
cheesy
yeah, you have
puffs.
6 months to live, I'd be like, fuck this job. I'm fucking moving to New Zealand.
I was gonna say I'd take a plane somewhere and
Yeah.
just go sit and chill. Like,
Yeah, and
you know.
I'd eat all the McDonald's French fries in the world.
I'd be fucking gorging on Taco Bell and pizza nonstop.
yeah.
Just letting it all hang out.
I'd be like, chimichangas all day, every day, baby. Be like, yeah, I'll take that 100 bottle of scotch. No, I don't need a bag. I'm going to drink it right now.
I'm just gonna
Gung,
walk
gung,
out.
gung, gung, gung.
So that Hippocratic oath's kind of garbage. Like it's too vague, and I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, that was
I
just
guess
that
it
was
had to
one
be
little
Well,
part
yeah.
that I found.
Circumstantial. Like, I need an example. Like, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I need an example of someone that would necessarily qualify or / need this assisted suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently
Like,
the
what would they be
Hippocratic
going
Oath
through?
is like 2,000 years old.
Yeah. Isn't it by like Hippocrates?
It's by
or-
Apollo.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like what part of it they use because that was the first part I got to that I thought matched up. Yeah, quote: do no intentional harm.
Darn doctors.
Yeah, so that pretty much that's it.
So yeah. So I think it's definitely arguable.
Yeah, nor shall any man's entry prevail upon me to administer poison to anyone. Yeah, so it's a poison part.
Which obviously, if it's 2,000 years old, their poison is defined as anything
Yeah.
that could kill you.
I
So
mean, you
it's-
could take an air gun and just press it against someone's skin, and that's basically poison.
Yeah.
You know, get some
Well,
air in
yeah.
your veins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say air bubble or something
Yep.
that'll kill you.
That's scary.
yeah. You could break someone's leg, and a little piece of their bone goes into the vein and splinters up and gets lodged in their heart. You just poison them
Yep.
by breaking their leg.
Yeah.
Are you putting on deodorant right now?
No.
Terry?
That's what,
What are you
that's,
doing?
what I said. That's what it looks like.
I have like a mosquito bite on like my fresh
You kind of look like an
tattoo.
orangutan with your arm up, and she's like reaching in the. She has like a
It's not,
hoodie.
really
that's,
it's not really a fresh tattoo.
she has like a
anymore, but-
cleavage hoodie on that's like ripped down to her titties, and
Yep.
she's like reaching in there with her left arm up in there, and she's like scratching it. She's like,
Whatever. I have fucking mosquito bites.
and got them titties in a. Never mind.
Really? You had to wait? You had to wait till the end?
Wait. How far? Okay, 48 minutes before we got sexual.
On the assisted suicide podcast, nonetheless.
Yeah, I think that's a new world record.
Yeah, we're
last
probably
episode
going
we,
to hell now for
we
that.
broke the record right away. We're like,
Right.
bang, sex robots, Dutch wives. And this time I'm like, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be classy as shit.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so I guess we should just wrap this up.
Yeah.
Assisted suicide. Final thoughts? You guys have anything? Are you a fan of it, or that's the point of this
Well,
podcast?
I just kind of said I sort of like changed gears. I don't know if I'm a fan of it.
You don't think it should be legal anymore?
Well,
I don't know. I would need to know, like, I don't know. I
Okay.
guess it depends on the situation. It just depends on I need an example.
Like your grandma, if she could have talked to you with her brow furrowed and everything, and in that pain, if she would have said, "Carrie, I don't want to live anymore," should she have been allowed to die with dignity, or should she
For
have been-
sure. If she,
Okay.
I don't remember exactly if it was like, or how, if I don't remember the details
Yeah.
of it. But yeah, if it was something like that and it wasn't like she's on life support.
So you
For
you
sure.
kind of like the laws that are in place where you need to go through a certain amount to get it done, and you need like a terminal illness with 6 months left to live. Like you like those restrictions,
Yeah, or,
or do
like
you think they should
where
be
you're.
stronger?
Yeah, I think those restrictions are okay.
Okay.
If someone is in a lot of pain and there's no way to maintain that pain or ever it goes away, like if it's something that's terminal, then yeah, I think a person should be allowed to die peacefully.
What about a person that is completely paralyzed, but their brain completely functions? Like they need someone to feed them, do everything for them. Like they can't do anything but blink and chew, basically. They can't blink and chew. They're paralyzed from the neck down. They need someone to bathe them every day, shower them every day, feed them, wipe their ass. Do you think they should be allowed to commit suicide?
I think that should be left up to them.
So you think that they should be allowed to if they want? If they don't want to be a paraplegic anymore, if they would rather just go to sleep and not wake up again and not have to worry about the embarrassment of being bathed and wiped like you're a baby, basically. Yeah, I see you shaking your head, TJ.
No, I was nodding. I was scratching, so maybe it looks like.
Yeah, nodding. I meant. Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. It still all comes down to me with the right mind. I mean, I don't know. Like the whole thing was earlier. You said that some like diagnoses are inaccurate or they've been wrong. So obviously, like maybe you should get multiple opinions first because maybe there is some chance. Whatever. Blah blah blah. But then also too, I still strongly believe in the advanced directives where if you have it stated before stuff happens, then by all means, like whatever you have in there, let's go by that because you were in sound mind when you created it. But then there are those instances when something like that happens, and it's just like, I totally agree. Like, I mean, in that case, you're putting a wear on your family because
like the paralyzed case.
Yeah, the paralyzed case. Like, because then they have to watch you suffer. They're suffering. The money, the cost, like they're not going to be able to, like insurance is going to drop them. They're not going to be able to afford the medical care. And then it's going to fall on the family to bathe and wash and feed and do all that. And it's just like, do you want to do that to them? Do you want them to do that for you?
Yeah,
like,
we're not suggesting that if you're paralyzed, you're a piece of shit and you should kill yourself. Like you could, like look at Stephen Hawking. He's fucking paralyzed. He talks like a robot and all he can do is move a finger for his car, but he's like, the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
That's why I hesitate on that because it's like if your brain is still functioning, but the rest of you is paralyzed, then and with
technology nowadays, like with Stephen Hawking, like you could live as long as you're okay with, if you have the means to have people take care of you and you want to live, like great. But like 99% of people probably don't have the means to be able to have people care for them forever.
Yeah, and they couldn't accept the fact that all they can do there is just lay and look at a TV. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. If I had someone in my family who was paralyzed but was still like of sound mind, and they were saying that they wanted assisted suicide, I don't think I could be on board with that. I'd be like, you're still here. Just because your body can't function on your own free will doesn't mean that you're not still here.
You talk about suicide being selfish. Isn't what you just said kind of selfish though? Like this person, like they can't do anything. Like they're of sound mind. They've been laying there for a year or two as a vegetable that can only see and not do anything else. And they tell you, I've made up my mind. I don't want to do this anymore. And you're telling them, no, you're still here. You're still good. I don't want you, I want you around.
Well, ultimately, I don't think I don't know. Maybe it should be left up. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
a hard topic. It's a hard subject.
And there's so many variations and what ifs.
Yeah.
Like, that case is an extreme one, but then you get other murky ones too, where it's just like, ugh, I don't know.
You got like Lieutenant Dan that loses his legs and he just, goes crazy and wants to kill himself.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, if one of my, back to the animals, one of my dogs were paralyzed, but, I could still mobilize them or put them in a wheelchair or something. I wouldn't want to put my pet down.
Yeah, we had a beagle that lost use of its last back legs, and it stuck around for a long time. She was an outside dog. She had the heated doghouse and shit built in the garage, but she would just come outside and lay outside all day long. She would drag herself over to the grass and use the bathroom or whatever, but she ate and she was happy to see people. She got pets, so yeah, they didn't put her down until it was absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And same with Brody. Like, if I knew that he could have lasted a long time and not had his bones just like shatter, like if he would have eaten and would have been able to go to the bathroom, I never would have made that choice. But
right.
Yeah,
definitely. It's definitely a hard decision for every person in every situation.
Right.
Every situation is different. Every family's different. Every, money. Money is usually what it comes down to. Do you have the money to care for them or not?
Right.
Yeah, the way I see it, I would never, like that chick did with her boyfriend, I would never encourage anyone to kill themselves. Like, I think life is precious, and, a lot of people will miss you if you do it. But at the same time, I think everyone should be free to make their own choices. I mean, we're free in this country, but you're not free. Like, you're free to do everything, but there are ramifications. And just know that if you do that, there are going to be ramifications, even if you're not around to witness it. So, but if someone's terminally ill, I 100% agree. They should be able to do that. I 100% think anyone should be able to commit suicide whenever they want, and I don't look down on anyone that committed suicide either accidentally or on purpose, because I'm not someone to judge, and you know, you don't know what that person's going through. Like, it's funny to make jokes about Chester Bennington or Chris Cornell or fucking Kurt Cobain or, you know, anyone that famous that's killed themselves, but you know, it's like dead baby jokes. Like, they're funny, but at the same time, it's fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of going on a rant. Basically, you want to kill yourself, do it, but people are going to fucking miss you. It's your right, but don't take advantage of it, I guess.
So I guess I have one last question about the whole suicide thing then. So with what you're kind of saying is it a right? Is it your right to decide when you live or die? Is that a human right?
Like, I think it's a human right.
So then you think that should be protected by the government then?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Because that was one of the things in the pros and cons thing that you sent me. Like, one of the
that reminded me of another point I had too.
Yeah, one of the big discussions was if it is a right, which in federally it's not. Like, the federal government doesn't view your decision on living or dying as your right. So,
I guess technically, you can have your rights taken away by someone that doesn't think you should live.
Yeah.
So that reminded me. Okay, what do you guys think about parents that have terminally ill kids? Should they be allowed to, if their kid says, "Mommy, I'm not going to live to reach 10. I'm 5 years old now. It's just going to be 3 more years of these fucking procedures and pain."
I would never.
Would you?
No.
If your kid told you that?
No.
And there was 1,000,000% chance he's or she is not going to live.
Absolutely. I would never put my kid down. I would give them the best life and make sure they were as comfortable and, you know, as pain-free. And if it were at the point where they were in a lot of pain and not living a good life, and, you know, I guess it would depend on, you know, because
the quality of their life. It would.
If they're in a hospital bed and they're all hooked up to all these machines and they're basically just living on life support, then, you know, that's something that would need to be made. But I would hope that no child would ever go up to their parent and be like, I'm only going to live for this much longer and therefore I want to die. Like, no, never. And I would never want my kid to know or think that, you know, they're dying or anything. I mean, that's horrible. I don't know.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think it kind of comes down again to the whole stupid debate of sound mind. Because a child's, depending on the age, obviously, like a child's brain's not fully developed, so they can't make an informed decision on what it means to truly end their life. Like, I mean, up until the age of like 10, half the time kids just view heaven as a place people go, and they, you know, just a place.
Yeah, and they think Santa's real and shit like that.
So, I mean,
there was a 12-year-old in the news that had committed suicide.
Yeah.
12.
Oh,
yeah.
How do they even know what suicide even is?
Yeah.
12,
I couldn't even read
16.
the article. I have no idea how she did it. I don't want to know because it was just so incredibly heartbreaking.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, kind of what Carrie said, if it's goes back to the quality of life thing, if it's so horrible. I mean, but that's with any people, like, I mean, if
so you think it should be up to the parents then?
Well, I mean, legally it automatically is. Like, yeah.
Okay.
But although I'm pretty sure that was an issue out east. The daughter wanted to die. She was like 12 or something. She had some disease and she wanted to like commit suicide, but her parents didn't want her to.
Yeah.
So she had to go to court to basically say, I want to be my own person. Like I forget what that's called. Emancipation?
Yeah, emancipation. Yeah.
So I think she had to do that, and then she was finally able to decide to die. But I think she actually died in the process of trying to be emancipated from whatever disease or whatever she had. So I don't know. It's,
Yeah, I think not to compare them, but I think with a kid, especially a young kid, it would basically come down to the example of a pet. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to look at them and how much pain are they really in? Do they even understand?
Yeah.
And if they don't even understand it, like they don't know, and I wouldn't want to see a kid suffer.
No.
Just like I wouldn't want to see an animal suffer or an elderly person or anyone suffer. That's why, I mean, even if you're not suffering physically, but you're suffering mentally or internally, like if that's what you got made up, man, it's a bad choice, but it's your choice, and I can't look down on you for it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's cowardly. I don't think it's selfish. I think it's just, it is what it is. I don't know.
You don't think suicide is selfish?
And then no selfish than buying yourself a new car instead of fucking giving your money to the homeless people, or fucking buying a house instead of fucking giving to an orphanage. You know, like you're doing something for yourself to make yourself happy. So therefore, what you decide to eat.
But you're not thinking about those you're going to leave behind. Like, what about someone that, let's say they have no friends, no family, but they got a dog, and they kill themselves, and they're leaving that.
Well, the bad
dog
part about
behind.
that is those fucking assholes, and I'm calling them assholes because usually they fucking kill the dog too before they do it.
I don't want to hear these
Which is-
stories. Nope, you don't need a.
Good
that's-
riddance to those fuckers. You should have left the dog alive.
So I guess I have another real quick point too that you kind of I just thought of was, what about kind of an opposite assisted suicide effect? What if the person is so terminally ill? Like, okay, the only thing I can think of to make this right or like sound fair would be a terminally ill person on life support. What if they want to be taken off life support, and in doing so that causes them to die? Like, should they be allowed to make that decision, or should we be able to, like,
The person on life support?
Yeah, the person on life support says, wait, no, maybe I said that wrong.
Yeah.
I said,
because they're not going to be able to decide if they're on life support. Like, they can't make that decision.
well, if they're on like a breathing apparatus thing that pumps their lungs, and if they get taken off of that, they can't breathe on their own, so they die.
Yeah, usually they're in such a state, though, where they're not going to be talking or anything. Like, you might be able to scribble your name down or tap once for yes, tap two for no at the most.
Yeah, so, like, what if they don't want to die, but
They just want to be left on life support?
yeah,
I say that's fucking selfish of them.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So should we be able to be like, no, like, we need to pull the plug?
I guess it depends on who's footing the bill. Like, do they have enough money
And
in their savings and insurance to be a vegetable for the next 20 days until they die?
Because that's like assisted
I mean, that
suicide.
sounds selfish as fuck on my part to say that, but like, that's honestly, realistically speaking.
Yeah, because that's, well, and a lot of the time too, with the way laws are now, if people die, like, their family automatically gets footed with the bill. Like, a lot of people think that, oh, all my debt, like, when I die, it just disappears. Well, no, those companies can come after the family and the insurance that you had and take your money too.
And anything you leave people when you die, the government's getting most of it.
Exactly.
Well, I think actually the death tax didn't.
I think they go after your assets
I think
as
Trump,
well.
one good thing Trump did was get rid of the death tax. I think.
Really? Nice. Yeah, because I just found out about that like a couple of years ago. Maybe it was like 10
So if he
years
did that, good, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for him, but thanks for getting rid of one tax at least.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of like an opposite of assisted suicide. Like, you want to kill them basically, but they don't want to die.
But it's the same, I guess, if someone's like paralyzed and, you know, like, you got to take care of them, and they're like, I don't give a fuck. I want you to wipe my ass every day for the rest of my life. I'm going to live longer than you because I'm younger than you. So fucking get to it.
Right.
Fucking give me my remote.
Right. So I don't know. I just thought that would be like a crazy scenario.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Carrie? Oh, you weren't paying attention.
I was.
Okay. Well, I guess that means we're going to wrap this podcast up. We'll be back in a couple weeks with a new episode. You can follow us on Twitter. Make Me a Fan. Yeah, it's just Make Me a Fan on Twitter. It's been so long since I said this. Instagram, Make Me a Fan Podcast, and Facebook, Make Me a Fan Podcast, and our webpage, as you already know, is www.makemeafanpodcast.com. I am your host. You know my name.
I want to add something before we end.
Oh, now you want to add something?
Because we've been talking about suicide, I think it's important to just put out a little public service announcement.
Oh, you got the number?
Yes.
Okay.
That if you are contemplating suicide or know someone that is or whatever.
You can email us at makemeafanpodcast@gmail.com, and we will send you some free stickers and a handwritten note saying, don't fucking do it. Don't kill yourself.
Yes, we will do that. But you can also contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
or the Nacional de Precisión del Suicidio at 1-888-628-9454.
Arriba.
I'm assuming that's Spanish.
Oh, that's going to tie in good with our next episode, which has to do with Mexico. And we're going to have our...
yeah, or you could just go to Mexico and they'll kill you.
Yeah. And we're... Oh,
Wait.
that's why we got to build a. That's why we got to build a wall.
Yeah, we got to get that wall built.
Yeah, stay tuned. Our next episode, we're going to have a very special guest, a guy I know from the neighborhood, Paco. He's going to come in to talk about Mexico and some bad shit that's going on to tourists down there. The turistas. All right, until next time, don't kill yourselves. Bye.
Bye.
What the fuck?
Mental vacation.
Makes me seem like a horrible individual.
You are.
Yeah.
Have anal sex with a person who, prior to the deed, has swallowed a piece of raw bacon.
What?
Like fucking a chicken. And beyond.
Well, make me a fan of your crime.
They still had places to go. You know, there were still bars.
Make me a fan, Copcat.